Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 9th session of these Peabody Hot Topics. And this session today is about money management, which is so important right now. We've all got these fears and worries. So today you're going to hear from 3 amazing speakers. So I want you all to sit back, relax. If you've got a tea and coffee or something stronger, you lucky people, and listen to what is going to be talked about today. The meeting will last about an hour, where we will have questions and answers towards the end. However, if you do want to put your questions up in chat, please feel free to do so. We will be looking through and we will ask those questions to our panelists later on. However, I will be asking people, or giving people, I should say, the opportunity to ask their questions out to our 3 panelists today. So before we kick off, I want to, like I say, introduce myself. My name's Ian Tate. I'm the Managing Director of Think Events London. Logo's behind me. And I will be emceeing today's session. I'm going to hand over to Nadia from Peabody, who is going to give you a little bit of introduction into Peabody, and you know, anything that Nadia says, please scribble it down because she's a wealth of information, and then she will be back in touch with you guys towards the end, and any information about today Nadia will send over to you. So Nadia, over to you.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, good afternoon. Nice to see you all virtually, and thank you so much for logging in today as well. My name is Nadia, as Ian said. I am the Training and Development Officer at Peabody. And before we dive right into today's session, I just want to give you some details about Peabody and the work that we do at the Peabody Community Foundation. So Peabody is one of the oldest and largest housing association in London. And we also have a charity side, a charity arm called Peabody Community Foundation. I personally work for the foundation, and the team that I'm part of is called Economic Inclusion. So as the name suggests, the Peabody Community Foundation really works with and for our communities of residents and local customers. And our vision is to help build communities that are healthier, wealthier and happier. And we do this in several ways. We've got lots of teams in the foundation, but just to give you examples of what myself and my team do, we create and promote free training opportunities for people to learn new skill, upskill, and consequently access better jobs or earn more money. We also have colleagues that help residents when looking for work, and they match them with employers and apprenticeship opportunities. And we also have colleagues that help residents that want to start a business or become self-employed. These are just examples. As Ian said, you know, if you want to find out more, if you would like support, feel free to get in touch with myself after the session. The hot topic sessions are part of our training offer and service. And what we did is we've identified key topics, important topics, or growth sectors and emerging careers. And through this free online 1-hour session, we want you to learn a little bit more about them, give you some introductory information on how to access these pathways. That's it from me. I just want to say finally, thank you so much to our 3 guest speakers of today for giving up their time and sharing their knowledge and tips today. And thank you to Ian and everyone in his team for always helping us and facilitating these sessions. I'll pass it over to you, Ian.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nadia. You are more than welcome. You know, we love doing these sessions. Okay, so what we're going to do is start off the session with our first speaker, who is Aaron. And Aaron is the Group Curriculum Director at the New City College. And Aaron's going to talk about the kind of training opportunities, some free financial courses, so that, you know, we can all kind of link into what Aaron's going to say. Take some notes, people. Take some notes. Please keep your questions in chat, or we'll ask you to answer some questions later on. Aaron, I'm going to hand over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope you can hear me well. So, as Ian has just said, I'm here to talk about the training opportunities that we have here at New City College as part of our financial provision offer. And just to give you a bit of context, if you don't know what New City College is, so New City College is one of the largest general further education providers that expands across East London and into Essex. We have about 8 main campuses with some subsidiary campuses, and we offer education to students from the ages of 14 right up until adulthood, and you can be any age to do a course. You're never too young or too old to start a program. So it has been known that we have had adults studying with us who are in their late 60s, early 70s, because they're changing courses or changing careers. So you may not also know, it's only just been recently published this week, but we had our Ofsted inspection in November 2021. It was our first Ofsted inspection as a multi-educational provider, and we were graded good in every category. So the discussion that I'm having with you today is coming from a place of affirmation in terms of Ofsted has said we are definitely good at what we do. And that included not just the quality of education, but also in adult programs that we offer. They were very impressed with how we work with our adult learners and how we support them to achieve their full potential. So in the context of money management, the reason that I'm here to talk to you about accounting is because accounting is it's a very important role to helping not just businesses, but also people who are self-employed, anybody really who is kind of involved with money, whether it be in personal life or whether it be in their business life. And so accountants play a really important role in helping those people to manage their money, making sure that we're spending on the right things. We're not spending too much of one thing. We're not in a situation where some of us have been there, we're in the red at the end of each month. And so accountants are there. They play a really pivotal role in helping businesses and people to manage that process, to manage that money. So if you are thinking of becoming an accountant, and this is something that you think actually this would be quite lucrative career, it's really interesting at the moment because accountants are starting to come out of lockdown. Since we all went into the pandemic, there was quite obviously, accountants is one of those roles that you can do anywhere. As long as you've got access to a computer and the accounting software, you can do it at home in your bedroom or on the other side of the world on the beach. But when we were in lockdown, everybody was working from home. But now we're reopening, businesses are regrowing, new markets are starting to form, accountants are going to be more and more in demand. And so this is a really good opportunity if you're starting to think about a career in accounting or you're actually thinking of a career change. So this is what we offer. And just to also let you know that our next enrolment date, so if you're interested in enrolling on these courses, we are enrolling from the 18th of April. However, it may well be that we start to do some earlier enrolment. So if we do get some information of some February courses that are starting, we're just waiting for those to be confirmed. I will email Nadia with all the dates and everything. And so if this is something that you might be interested in doing, then please get in contact, because we are looking at doing some shorter, intense courses that might be more appealing for adults with situations where perhaps they've got children, and so their work circumstances mean they're not always able to do an evening course, and so something perhaps sandwiched in the middle of the day intensely for a month might be more appropriate. So once we get the information from that, I'll definitely share that with you. But we offer levels 1 and 2, and these are predominantly the levels that are available under adult funding. You can go on to do level 3. Sometimes if you get a job whilst you're doing an accountant qualification, or if you're already in employment, your employer will fund you to do a level 3 qualification. So you can go right up to level 3 and beyond that onto level 4. So we offer the level 1 bookkeeping award, and that's at our Epping Forest campus. That's where I'm at today. We're also offering that at our Hackney campus and our Tower Hamlets campus as well. So if you're new to it and you're wanting to kind of get a grounding in it, the best place to start is at level 1, and you can enrol in that from the 18th of April. If you have done a level 1 before, or you've got some experience in accounting, you might want to start at level 2. So we do a level 2 certificate in bookkeeping, and we run those at our Ardley Green campus, our Tower Hamlets campus, and our Hackney campus. Thank you for putting the slides up there. And then we come on to accounting, because accounting and bookkeeping are two very different sources, although in layman's terms they represent one of the same thing, but actually it's how you do it. Accounting is very software driven. It's very lots of the only way I could describe it is if you like a puzzle accounting's for you. Bookkeeping is about keeping the books, making sure that everything looks right and we've not got any dodgy numbers floating around. So if accounting is more your thing and that's what you're looking to do, then we do offer the foundation certificate in accounting, and we offer this across a larger breadth of our campuses, so Epping Forest, Hackney, Tower Hamlets, Redbridge and Ardley Green. We also have an open event coming up this Saturday on the 4th of February. It's an all-day event, starts at 10 and finishes at 2, where our staff will be able to give you some advice. If that's something you're looking to do, please do come in and talk to our teachers, because they can give you first-hand information. They can give you first-hand pointers on where to go, where to start and all of that sort of stuff. So please come along if this is something that you are looking to do. And all of our courses we offer as part-time, evening and also part-time day options. So at our Hackney and our Ardley Green campuses, we do offer a part-time day option as well. And just to kind of give you a bit of a flavour of what kind of things you might be looking at whilst you're doing these courses, so things like double entry, bookkeeping, payment methods, control accounts, cost recording and process transactions. All of these programs are assessed through the medium of online exams, and also in the classroom you'll do some sort of classwork activities and group work activities as well. So if that's something that you are interested in, please do pop along to our open event on Saturday. You can find out more about enrolment opportunities as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Aaron. That's really, really good. I think, like I said, now I'm one of those people that are pretty much always in the red. So I could really do with a good accountant to kind of keep me grounded, I think. But that's good. I mean, I love that you've got the courses, people can come along. You've got all of these different places where people can come to these courses. And I think, if you are thinking of going into that career, then please talk to Aaron. Aaron, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
What we're going to do is we're going to move on to our next speaker, who's Timmy. Now, Timmy is the founder of Money Jar, and Timmy's going to come over and give you a very good insight into all of what he's up to and what he's been doing, but also some useful tips around budgeting, managing your finances, etc. And Timmy, I need you in my life to manage my finances. So, Timmy, over to you.
Thank you very much. Can I just check that my slides are showing? My slideshow is coming through.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you for that great introduction. As has been said, my name is Timmy Merriman Johnson. I am the founder of Mr. Money Jar, and I'm going to take a slightly different tack today. I'm going to talk to everyone about our personal finances. I've only got 10 minutes to speak, and so I thought that would be great to just do a quick whistle-stop tour of 5 things to think about on or just after payday as we're at the start of the month. So the first thing that I like to think about on payday is to check my payslip. I used to work in an organization where I just didn't, like in previous jobs, I didn't check my payslip. It would kind of be left on my desk and I'd kind of pop it in my bag and not look at it. I would encourage you to check it every single month, if only for the reason that you're familiarizing yourself with what is on it. If you imagine you lived in a house that you'd never, looked into the attic of before, you're almost peering into the attic and you're saying, like, what's there? Things to be aware of are your tax code. This is the code that determines the amount of tax you'll be paying. For most people, be 1257L. Yours might be different depending on your circumstances, but your tax code is very important because it can lead to you paying too much or too little tax. Also, pay attention to your deductions. Have a look at how much is coming out in terms of income tax, national insurance, your pension contributions, your student loan. We all tend to know what our take-home pay is and what our gross pay is, but these amounts that are also leaving your pay are amounts that you're paying. So just familiarize yourself with them. When it comes in the future, if you happen to overpay on income tax, you'll have looked at it in all of these previous months and you'll be familiar with it. If there's anything you don't understand, make sure you speak to your HR department. This can be for tax overpayments. This can be if you want to increase your pension contributions. This can be if you think you've paid too much student loan. They should be able to help you. So that's step number 1. check your payslip. Step number 2 is to create a budget. The word budget is a turn-off for many people. Spending plan is okay as well. And the whole idea of a budget is to take a look back over the past months. You've just been paid. You're looking back over the past month and be like, what on earth did I spend money on? Many of us have an idea of how much money we earn. Not many of us know how much we spend on a month-to-month, on a week-to-week basis, i.e. how much it costs to run our lives. You want to take a look at the spending and you want to look at it judgment-free. I know what my weaknesses are: Nando's, video games. Like, if I look back over the past month and I see that I spent too much on takeaways and gaming, it's very important that you don't judge yourself. You are just looking at the numbers to say, like, what are these? Then you evaluate, you make some, have a think about whether you'd like to make any tweaks or changes. So if we stick with the takeaways example, when I sit down with my wife and we talk about our budgets, if we think that we've paid too much money on takeaways, we then go, all right, fine. Going forwards, this month forwards, we're going to have a takeaway day in the week. And this is how much we want those takeaways to amount to. So that by the time the next month rolls round, we will have stayed within budget for that particular spending category. And all of our circumstances are different. The thing that we like to spend money on is different, but make sure you do this. I use a free app called Money Dashboard Neon to do my budget. The way Money Dashboard Neon works is that you can link your bank accounts to it, and then it categorizes your spending for you automatically. And you can use it to look at things like your rent or mortgage, your bills, your eating out, your entertainment. It does it all for you. And you can also create custom categories. I'm a huge fan of Money Dashboard Neon, but of course, if you're old school, want to download your bank statements and do it all manually, you can do that too. Oh yeah, also worth mentioning that the app-only banks, and increasingly the high street banks as well, they all have apps that do this. So if you're a Monzo user, Starling user, Revolut, so on, they'll do this as well. Next, so we've done check your payslip, create a budget. Next, clear any high interest personal debt. According to the Money Statistics newsletter, which is published by the Money Charity, an excellent charity, average interest rates on credit cards is sitting about 21% as at December 2021, and for overdraft, it's sitting about 34%. These are astronomical interest rates, which if you're not clearing your debts off every month, are going to increase month on month on month. So if you have any debt sitting on a credit card, and we're speaking specifically about high interest consumer debt, personal debt, try to pay off those debts in full. For bonus points, try to pay off the debts transaction by transaction. I like to do that so that when I look at my main bank account, I can see the individualized costs for the items that are on my credit card, but you can just do one big payment to clear it as well. If you have more debt than you're able to clear off in full, or maybe you don't even know how much you owe, it's a case of sitting down and writing all of the amounts that you owe, to whom, and what the interest rates are. And then you can go into debt management. There are two very popular debt management methods. One is called the snowball method. The other is called the avalanche method. I'll start with the avalanche method first. This is where you write out all of your debts and you list them from lowest interest rate to highest interest rate. Every month, you pay off as much as you can possibly afford on the lowest interest rate debt first. So that's the cheapest debt, and then you maintain the minimums on the rest. This is mathematically the quickest way to pay off debt because you're paying off the cheapest debt first. If you are more into kind of the psychology of paying off debt, you're more of a momentum person, then the snowball method may be appropriate for you. This is where you write out all of your debts and you arrange them from the smallest balance, so amount owed first, to the highest balance first. You might have a £50 store card or credit card or something. So you say, you know what, I'm just going to pay that off, cut it up, never think about it again. And then you maintain the minimums on the rest. And you keep doing this, cheapest debt to most expensive debt, or smallest balance to highest balance, until all of the debts are gone. I don't want to trivialize almost being in debt, because this is a process that can take many months or years to do, but the management method remains the same. So we've done clear any high interest debt. Next is to save and invest. Why have I talked about clearing debt before saving and investing? Because whilst average interest rates are sitting at 20 to 30% on debts, the savings that you can get from your bank account are very, very low. And so if you're carrying debt at 20 to 30%, but saving at less than 1% in the savings account, net, you're going to lose money. So saving, I like to allocate my savings into 3 different pots: short-term, medium-term, and long-term. In terms of short-term saving, I must espouse the importance of the emergency fund. I used to, think that saving money seemingly for nothing was a bit of a weird thing to do, but I think the pandemic has shown us that you can fall upon hard times, you can be hit with big expenses. An emergency fund, Money Helper, which is a government financial guidance site, recommends having an emergency fund of anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. We already have written out a budget, so we should know what our monthly expenses are. Now, if 3 to 6 months is too much money, even a starter amount like £500, £1,000, just in a savings account, almost like a personal overdraft, just sitting there, just in case, very, very valuable. It means that when you fall upon hard times, you won't then need to rely on debt to service that emergency. Then you can allocate savings to medium-term and medium-term objectives. These are things that you want to do or have in the next year or two. This could be a holiday, new car, or what have you. And I would say, whenever you're saving, whatever you're saving for, try and keep it in a separate account, separate bank account, or if you're using one of the app-only banks, put it into like one of the pots, vaults, or spaces, just so it's out of mind. Investment is quite so that's medium-term savings, and then when it comes to long-term savings, you have investments. Investments is actually a presentation all on its own, but what I'll say about investments is it's best to think about investments as money that you're saving for the long term after you've catered to debt and things that you want to do in the short to medium term. So it's that surplus cash. Last but not least, pay yourself. So once you've done these things, pay yourself a fun fund. I like to use the 2 account strategy. I do not spend from the bank account that I get paid into. This is a Chinese buffet situation waiting to happen. I take money from my main bank account and I send it into a set amount, like a bill, into a separate bank account. And then I spend on that card. And the thing is, your brain just adjusts to the amount of money that's on this card, whether it's for eating out, clothing, like going out to places, and you just use it throughout the month. And in my experience anyway, I haven't gone over budget using the 2 card strategy. So those are 5 things to think about on or around payday. Check your payslip, create a budget, clear any high interest personal debt, save and invest, and pay yourself a day-to-day expense amount to a separate card. Thank you very much.
Wow, brilliant, Timmy. Thank you so much for that. I mean, I love the bit at the end. It was the fun fund that got me. I have got a fun fund. It's amazing. But you're absolutely right. I think all of these tips are brilliant. Looking at your pay slip, and creating that budget or spending plan, if you don't like to use the word budget, as you quite rightly said, save and invest and clear your debt, which again, when you look at the kind of interest rates that banks and building societies, etc., are charging, clearing that debt if you can is quite important. So Timmy, thank you so much for that. And we will come back. There is a couple of questions for you in the chat, as I can see, but we'll come back to those in a little while after we've heard from our 3rd speaker, who is Rosie. Hi, Rosie.
Hello.
Hi, Rosie is the money specialist at Peabody, and Rosie supports the local residents and looking at the grants application, budgets, insolvency, and specialist debt advice. So we'll be talking to Rosie now because I'm sure there's some external free money advice agencies that are out there that Rosie can point you in the right direction too. So Rosie, over to you.
Definitely. I'm going to share my screen. Never done this before, so I hope it works. Okay.
Yep, we've got your screen.
Perfect. Okay. So hello everyone. Can you hear me well?
Yep, no problem.
Perfect. So my name is Rosie Kaur and I am the money specialist for Peabody's financial inclusion team. I have been working with the team for 4 years now. I started as a support officer for the team with mainly having admin duties. And then 2 years ago, there was a position open for money advisor. I applied and I got the job. So who are we as a team? My team is formed by 19 people. We are so we have 2 financial inclusion support assistants, welfare benefits officers, and money advisors. The main role of the financial support assistant is to diagnose financial and social need of new tenants and develop and manage new tenants action plan in partnership with internal departments. They also support tenants with the transition to universal credit and make internal referrals where appropriate. We all know that the benefit system keep changing due to the ongoing welfare reform. So we have welfare benefits officers that are able to assist and support tenants to ensure that they are claiming the correct benefits where appropriate, and also enabling them to manage their personal budget and maximize their benefit income. Part of our service is also to ensure that they receive the correct benefits promptly and they have access to their financial inclusion and income maximization tools. If we become aware that a new tenant has moved into a property but they don't have the essential household appliances that they need, that they are missing, we also help them applying for grants with the local authorities. And we also have a budget at Peabody that can help them to get those essential appliances. And then we have money advisors like myself, and we provide specialist advice on that and how to manage their finances. Some of the things that we can help with, I've listed them on this slide. So welfare benefits advisors help clients with any issues relating to housing benefit and council tax reduction claims. So if your claim has been closed, or you're thinking that you're not getting the full entitlement, we can help you to get your full entitlement, and if your claim has been closed, we can help you to reinstate it. Also, we help with job seekers allowance applications and employment and support allowance applications. Where you have applied for ESA and it has been rejected, we can help you to do a mandatory consideration and also support clients with appeals and our tribunals. So we can, we can go with the client to the tribunal and help them to represent them. Clients who have disability and want to apply for disability benefits such as PIP and personal independence payment and disability living allowance, we can help them with those. And most of our referrals come from the collections team. So when tenants have rent arrears on their account, we will get a referral, and sometimes they're not getting their full entitlement to their rent because they have bedroom tax. So in that case, we help them with DHP applications, or if they are at risk of getting evicted, we can also apply for homelessness prevention fund. We help with universal credit claims. We have 4 people who are specialized in universal credit. They are and they can help with any issue relating to universal credit. And then last but not least, we have debt advice. So I help clients with budgeting, negotiating affordable payments with their creditors. I sometimes also apply to help them apply for grants, so such as DHP, as mentioned before, and I can help with grants with their utility. So if they have arrears on their energy suppliers, there is a grant with British Gas that we can apply for, and the only criteria is that the debt has to be lower than 1,500. It doesn't matter if the client is a British Gas customer, they will still help you. I advise clients on insolvency options such as IVA, which is individual voluntary arrangement, DRO, debt relief order, bankruptcy, and debt management plans. Due to the fact that I work for Peabody, I won't be able to assist them with the application for insolvency because most of our clients have debt with Peabody, so Peabody is their creditor, and it will be conflict of interest to support them with an application. So in that case, what we do is signpost clients to external agencies. A quick way to find what external agency is best for the client is to use Advice Local website. It's very simple. You go on the website and insert their postcode and the type of help that they need. So whether it's welfare benefits, council tax, debt, housing, employment issues, or disability and care, or immigration, the website will show you different options available, charities that are available near to clients' address that can help. At times when we are over capacity, we also refer clients to CAB, Citizens Advice, Step Change, and Debt Free London. So Citizens Advice basically offer the same support as we do. Step Change and Debt Free London are mainly debt charities. Step Change offer telephone advice, and they are open Monday to Saturday, while Debt Free London are for Londoners and people outside of London. They offer telephone advice and face-to-face advice. They are also, I've been told that they're also going to have a 24-hour service for 3 months, starting from the 21st of February until May. So if anyone is interested, they can make note of that. If somebody wants to learn more about that and how they can manage their finances, I put here 3 websites that are really helpful. So we have National Deadline, Money Helper, and the Money and Pension Service. They offer free advice to those who would like to learn more about their debts, how to deal with priority and non-priority creditors. National Deadline has fact sheets about each debt, is explained really well. And if somebody is interested and wants to learn more about any particular type of debt, I will be happy to provide further training or one-to-one training if you're interested. And that will be all for me. Thank you.
Wow, Rosie, that's amazing. God, you must be very busy.
Yes. Yes.
Very busy. I mean, all of this information that is here, it's out for the Peabody residents. Get involved. There is so much there that you can, you know, from your educational websites and all of the other bits. Talk to Rosie, please. If you're feeling the pinch, you need help.
Yeah.
You've got to give Rosie a little call, because all of this stuff is amazing. Now, I know that Nadia will be putting all of the information together and we'll be sending it out to everybody. So don't worry. I know we've put some stuff in the chat regarding those websites, those little nuggets that are there. So please take that information, go and have a look, do some research. or again, talk to Rosie, Nadia, or the Peabody family, as I like to call them, because they've been very good to me. So talk to the Peabody family and get all of this information. Okay, it is now time for the questions and answers. I like doing that, it just kind of makes me feel good. So we've had a couple of questions in the chat. Let me know, we've had one from Nadia, which is about, to you, Timmy, really. It's about the kind of money dashboard account, and can you link different accounts to it? But also the other question is about, it's a great idea of having a separate personal account and the overdraft account, but how do you make it inaccessible as opposed to not dipping into it? Because we all do that. So, Timmy, I'll leave you to answer those two.
Yeah, I thank both people for their questions. To Nadia, yes, you can link more than one bank account to Money Dashboard. That's the beauty of it. And when you are looking at your budget, you can also get a consolidated view of all of your accounts, or you can look at just one of them. So you can see like how all of your money is performing across all your accounts, or you can uncheck just like the ones that you want to see. There is a weird quirk that I found out, which is that if you are a card holder of an account, only the main person in that account can add their Money Dashboard, can add the account to Money Dashboard. And I know this because I'm a card holder for a credit card account with my wife. So we have to add her account to it, not mine. That's a really specific piece of information. Then to the, how do you keep your personal overdraft separate? All right, so if you're using the likes of Monzo, Starling, Revolut, they all have the pots, vault, spaces feature. And I'm speaking for Monzo because that's the one I've used the most, but I'm assuming the other two work similarly. You can actually lock these pots onto the date in the future. So you can, and like you have to contact them to unlock it. So that's you putting a barrier in front of yourself. You can lock it, I think, until the pot reaches a certain amount, or you can lock it onto a particular date. And you can put a picture on it as well. So let's say you wanted to save for a holiday and you wanted to save for the next 3 months, you could just partition it off that way. I don't do all of that. What I personally have found has caused me to do the dipping in thing, which we're all prone to, is when I go into my banking app, if my savings are, you know, when it's like current account, savings account, like credit card, that has been a nightmare for me because it's right there. It's literally right there. So I've actually opened up a separate savings account in a separate bank account so that the bank account that I'm checking my money of most frequently, my savings isn't there. But then the third thing is you kind of have to like know why you need to really focus on your why. So when this, let's say you have, you're saving towards something, let's say it's a holiday, like really try and visualize future you at this holiday, enjoying yourself, like experiencing it. You need to have a purpose behind the savings. If you don't know what you're saving for, then you will dip in. And I believe that that's actually the main reason why people dip into their savings, because it's not serving a purpose, it's not doing a job. So identify why you're saving, and that should hopefully reduce the urge to draw upon your savings prematurely.
Brilliant, thank you for that. That's really helpful actually, and you're absolutely right. Again, it's, you know, if you have a purpose of why you're saving money, then you're less likely to dip into it, as opposed if it's just there and you think, yeah, I'll put £100 away a week or month or whatever it is, you will then end up spending it. So yeah, brilliant. I've got a couple of questions that people have sent over to me directly, but I will open it up to everybody first of all. So if there's anyone here that wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself and ask that question. So I'll throw it open to you guys first. Anyone there that wants to unmute and ask a question? We don't bite, honest. We are good. We're nice people.
What I typically find is that questions are a bit like London buses, like they take ages and then they all come at once.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so I'll start off with the questions that I have that people have sent over to me. So the first question is, I want to start investing some money with my savings. What's the best advice you can give? So I'll open that open to all of the speakers. Who would like to take that first?
I'm happy to take that with the disclaimer that I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not giving investment advice here, more just speaking about general principles. If you want to start investing, like talk about when I started investing. When I first started investing, I bought shares in a company called Unilever. They're the company that kind of make groceries and toiletries and that sort of thing. And I'd done my due diligence and I decided to invest in shares in the company because I determined that they would be around for the foreseeable future. And I understood the products and services that they made. But the thing is, investing in shares is the riskiest way to hold them because you're concentrated in just one company. And if that company has falls upon hard times, has a bad period, or even goes bust, you could lose all of your money. So I am actually a big fan of funds. I personally invest in funds at the moment. And funds are baskets of companies. So you can pay a set amount of money into a fund every month. And that fund could contain hundreds or even thousands of companies sometimes. And so it would require all of the companies within that fund to go bust for you to lose all of your money. So diversification, basically. The last thing that I would say is if you're just starting out, depending on your temperament and how much you have to spare, how much you have to spare, starting with small sums of money can help you to get comfortable with the process of investing. We're really sport for choice at the moment. There are many platforms that will enable you to invest from as little as £1. The investing platform I use lets me invest from £25 a month, and start small and then build over time. And hopefully you fall in love with it as much as I have.
Brilliant, thank you. Does anyone else from the panel want to add to that? No? Okay. Aaron, I think this is a perfect one for you, actually, in terms of accountancy and what's the difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant, and how long does it take to become an accountant?
I can answer that question. So I'm going to answer it though very simply, because I could sit here and go on a whole tangent about what the difference is between bookkeepers and accountants. But the best way to answer that question is bookkeepers keep a track of money. So ingoing, outgoing is basically what it says on the tin. It's keeping the books. So it's looking at what's coming in, looking at what's going out, making sure that there's no sort of rogue numbers, or that at the end of the month, for example, the numbers add up, that we've made the profits that we needed to make, we've met our overheads, all of that sort of stuff. So that's a bookkeeper. An accountant is perhaps a little bit more broader, and they have a little bit more of a bigger role. So they will be doing some bookkeeping, but they will also be doing things like looking at transactions, looking at the conversion of transactions as well, cost control. So, for example, bookkeepers won't necessarily go into how much you're spending, whereas an accountant would say, you're spending too much on that. Look at all of this extra stuff that's coming up that you don't need to spend for, it's unnecessary. So, and I guess you could in some ways, although financial advisors have to be regulated, accountants are they kind of give that advice, but they do it in a much more methodical, evidence-based way. So not to kind of say to you, oh, you need to stop spending that. It's more about, because you're spending that, you are spending too much, and therefore you are not meeting the profits and things that you should be making. So that's the best way to, I think, for me, to describe the two differences between a bookkeeper and an accountant. It takes a long time to become either or. It does take a long time, because you're not just learning about you're not just learning about being an accountant, you're not learning how to do things, how to use the different types of software. We live in very much a digital age now. So what an accountant is today isn't necessarily the same as what an accountant was 20 years ago, because there's lots of new software that accountants and bookkeepers have to become familiar with, and they need to understand that and interpret that. But there is that other element of this work, which is the client-based element, and that's how you are building that trustful relationship with your clients. If you're an accountant or a bookkeeper that perhaps is independent and supports that way, and even if you're within a business, let's take for example the college. We have finance directors and accountants here. Now we have to trust that what those accountants are saying to us is right, because at the end of the day, if we get it wrong, our auditors are going to come along and they're going to not just rack us over the knuckles. There's going to be a whole lot of other problems as well. So there's that other element to this, which isn't just about understanding numbers and systems and processes, but it's about how you communicate that to people who aren't perhaps necessarily au fait with numbers, accounts and processes, and what that actually means for them. So I would say to be an accountant, you're probably looking at, it depends what level you go in at. So if you're wanting to go at an assistant accountant level, you're probably looking at about 2 to 3 years. If you're looking at kind of perhaps more of an advanced accountant, it can be anywhere up to 5 or 6 years.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. Whilst you're on there, we do have a question in chat, which is about, do you offer courses to become a financial advisor?
That's interesting.
Love it.
No. No, we don't. So we don't offer any courses at the moment that would train people to become financial advisors. They're very specific, and financial advisory roles aren't necessarily to do with the exchange of money. That's more about, I almost say it's like money counselling. So we don't offer that. I mean, we offer very much at the moment a very specific curriculum which is accounting and bookkeeping, and not finance, because actually there's a difference between finance and accounting, and it's very different in how it's developed through its curricula. However, we know that for the T levels, for new 16 to 18 qualifications, what we are looking to do is we're looking to offer a finance route as well as an accounting route for anyone who's aged 16 to 18. So if you've got young people in the area who potentially either want to work in the finance industry or in the accounting industry, keep an eye out, because from September 2022-23, so next September, we are hoping to run those across our campuses as well for young people that are hoping to go into that industry. But in terms of part-time offerings at the moment, we don't offer any qualifications in becoming financial advisors.
Right, brilliant. Thank you, Aaron. Tim, we'll come back to you because Rosanna had a question, which was, can you name the fund that you were talking about? Because she's never sure which one to trust or how you find one reliable.
Yeah, so I'll speak about funds in general terms, like the types of funds that you can buy. And also there is this issue of when you go into an investment platform and you look at funds, there are literally so many, and the names are really long and really confusing as well. Funds generally sit in one of two camps. They can either be managed or unmanaged. A managed fund is where a professional investor has looked at the stock market in general and has gone, do you know what? I think that these sectors or these company types are going to do particularly well over a particular time frame. And so they select the shares of those companies, and then they pool them together, and then you can invest in that fund. You normally have to pay a higher fee as a proportion of what you're investing to them, because you're almost paying them for their expertise. And this fee is taken out of the money that you've invested, like a percentage of it. What research has shown, though, is that it is very difficult to predict how the stock market will perform over very long time periods. This has increased the popularity of like unmanaged funds or passive funds, sometimes called index funds. These types of funds don't try to beat the market. They merely seek to replicate it. And you can buy index funds based on entire sections of the stock market. There are UK-based index funds which track the FTSE 100. That's the biggest 100 companies in the UK. There's companies like Tesco and Barclays and JD Sports in there. You can buy index funds based on the US stock market. It would be of no surprise to you that the biggest organizations in that are Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, the products you use every day. You can also buy global index funds as well, which just replicate the stock market over globally. And within that, America is like, 2/3 of it because they have the biggest stock market in the world. Then you'll also see a bit of, UK, Japan, Canada, like other major economies. So in terms of what I personally invest in, I invest every month into a global index fund. And this is a really passive and, in my view, rational way of investing, which means that you're not trying to pick this company or that company, and you're not trying to time or beat the market. So I offer all this information to you, Rosanna, not to try and tell you what particular type of investment approach you should take, but just as a next step for you to go on the internet and just have a search. What are managed funds about? What are index funds about? So that you can come to a decision. I hope that helps.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Timmy. It was really good. I've got, what's the time? 5 minutes. So I've got two more quick questions. Unless anyone in the audience, like I can see you all, has any questions you want to put out there, please unmute yourself and ask a question. I'll give you a couple of seconds. Anybody? These buses are not coming to me. Right, okay. So what's a common mistake when it comes to saving money that the kind of ordinary people make, and how would you prevent or fix it? Who would like to take that one? One of you's got to take it.
I'm happy to go.
Go for it, Timmy.
Okay, so saving mistakes. I think I've touched upon this already, but I think it's like, think about your pension. You can't dip in, like you just can't. You pay into your workplace pension. It leaves your bank account automatically, which is very much by design. Before auto enrollment was brought in, which is basically the requirement for a workplace to pay into their employees' workplace pensions automatically, pension adoption rates were super low. They brought in auto enrollment, and pension rates have now, adoption rates have shot up to 80-something% amongst the employed. And you can't access it normally until you're 55. At the moment, that goes up to 57 in 2028. So I think that there's a lot of almost wisdom in that system, and it's just about creating barriers to this money that you're putting away. So we talked before about having a purpose for the money. So knowing what you're saving for and not having it just be money that you're just putting into another account for no reason, but then separate it out from the bank account that you're getting takeaways from. Separate it out from the bank account that you're paying your bills from. Because it's really difficult conceptually to look at, let's say you've got $3 grand in account and be like, yeah, $1 grand of this is for savings and £500 of this is for like bills, and then 100 quid is for eating out. As I like to say, no one brings out their budget spreadsheet when they're at the bar. If you're going to dip in, you're going to dip in. So separate that money out.
Brilliant. You're absolutely right. Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of start wrapping up now, because it is coming up to almost 1:30. I mean, I want to say thank you to all of our speakers. That's Aaron, Timmy and Rosie. I'm going to do the clapping card. You can hear me clap. Thank you so much for giving up your time and this invaluable advice. And it's great the fact that, you're putting yourself out there to the Peabody residents and beyond, so people can contact you and ask for different bits of information. I'm going to hand over to Nadia, because Nadia is going to do the last little bit of wash up and then we'll come up with the next date for the next hot topic session. So Nadia.
Thank you, Ian. I'm just going to echo you, and thank you so much, everyone. I'm just taking notes everywhere, like my notebook looks crazy. Thank you, everyone. I hope you'll find it useful. The next hot topic session is this month. It's on Wednesday, the 16th of February, and we'll be talking about the software development sector. It will be at 4 p.m. instead, again on Zoom. So yeah, you will receive an email from myself with the links and resources and presentations that our guest speakers shared with us today. So yeah, you can find everything that we kind of discussed today in that email. That's it. Thank you so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Take care all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.